Canada should be the richest country in the world.
It definitely
should. We have the second
should.
biggest landmass in the world, the third biggest proven oil reserves, sixth biggest lithium reserves, the biggest uranium and potash reserves, 154 million acres of farmland, and 4 coasts that are either on or leading to tidewater. We have an abundance of energy for data centers and cold weather to cool them down. We have 41 million highly educated, brilliant people ready to get it done. So why aren't we the richest country in the world?
Because
The
of
answer,
liberals. Bill
gatekeepers.
C-63.
We can't get out of our own way. It takes more than 17 years to get the average mine approved and built
That's
in Canada.
ridiculous.
We have the second slowest permits in the OECD.
Okay. Don't get me wrong. I still don't know how I feel about getting more mines in Canada. I worked in one for 2 months. It was a very good experience. But yeah, it definitely is not the best for environment. Like we pretty much just destroy the whole mountain just to mine the steel making coal from there, right? But it takes 17 years to approve it. That's ridiculous. Like, it shouldn't be such a long process. It shouldn't be as much bureaucracy as it is. Like, how can you trust that it's not, pardon me, how can you trust that it's not corrupted, right?
In the first 5 years of this Liberal government, $176 billion of resource and energy projects were canceled, mostly due to government obstacles
That's
and rules.
ridiculous.
These projects would have made us more self-reliant and less dependent on the United States. There's the Energy East pipeline that would have brought 1 million barrels of Western oil to New Brunswick every single day. The company canceled the project after spending $1 billion on getting it approved after the Liberal government suddenly changed the environmental rules. Another project, the Northern Gateway,
That's ridiculous.
would have brought Canadian oil from Alberta to the Pacific and on to Asia. Justin Trudeau vetoed that one, a decision Mark Carney endorsed in testimony at a parliamentary committee not long afterward. Do you support the Prime Minister's decision to veto the Northern Gateway pipeline, Mr. Carney?
I understand the veto of the Northern Gateway pipeline.
You support it?
I think it was sensible. I wasn't involved in the decision, but I think it was the right decision.
Carney opposed pipelines in Canada, while his company bought pipelines in the Middle East and Asia. It's clear that this is not about
And
the
now
environment.
in the US as well.
If it were, you'd be consistent and you'd oppose fossil fuels everywhere. But you're happy to profit off of foreign fossil fuel companies while killing jobs among our own people.
Nice.
Radical liberal, keep it in the ground ideology opposes Canadian resources while supporting dirty foreign oil.
Okay, just I don't understand one thing. So he's at the World Economic Forum. He was economist, right? Some people still think that he does what's best for Canada. Why wouldn't you use all of the natural heritage we have, all the oil, lithium, LNG, well, natural gas, right? All of it. Why didn't you try to improve the economic situation of Canada? That's what kind of baffles me. And yeah, Pierre Poilievre was spot on. Like, how are you okay with making money off fossil fuels outside of Canada? But in Canada, you're like, nope. And let's talk about it. Like, he mentioned Asia, right? Asia is much worse for pollution. Probably not all the countries, but most of the countries. So most of the countries in Asia are much worse for pollution than Canada. Like, Canada is right now, it's around 160. I don't know, 169. So obviously the regulation in Canada and everything is much better than Asia or Middle East. Middle East is really high as well. It's like top 10 pollution, air pollution in the whole world. So it definitely has nothing to do with environment. Like, it's probably just about the money. Yeah, because like Middle East, obviously a lot of money. Asia, well, I bet they're definitely richer than Canada right now. So what's the reason? Why are you gatekeeping Canadian citizens from having a prosperous country and one of the richest countries. Like it's just ridiculous, and he's not able to explain it. He's talking about net zero, but if you really care about net zero, wouldn't you try first at the Middle East and Asia to achieve it? Because that's the most pollution in the world. Like if Canada, US, Europe, if we all get net zero, it's still not going to change anything because of Middle East, Asia, all of these countries that are like in top 10, right?
Most of all, C-69, the liberal no new pipelines law, makes it effectively
C-69.
impossible to get any project approved. The consequence is that the U.S. gets 97% of our oil exports and 100% of our natural gas exports. Because we can't sell to anyone else, the Americans rip us off. They pay $63 a barrel for our oil, while the world price is $76. They pay $4 per million British thermal units, while the price in Europe is $15. Here's a simple equation for our liberal friends. When you sell something for $4 that is worth $15, you get really poor really fast.
Yeah.
And because we do not have an east-west pipeline, the oil Quebec buys from Alberta must run through American pipelines, meaning they could cut us off from ourselves at any time. Enough. Let's build Canada again. It's time to put Canada first. It's time to bring home our jobs, energy, and economic sovereignty. And that is what my Bring It Home economic plan will do. And so today I'm introducing the Canada Shovel-Ready Zones. Canada Shovel-Ready Zones will be areas already permitted for construction. Here's how we'll get it done. First, we will identify a spot that makes sense for, say, a power station, LNG plant, pipeline, or other major project. Second, we'll make sure it is a safe place that won't harm people or the environment. Third, my government will work with other levels of government to lock down the zoning and permits in advance. Fourth, we'll offer pre-permitting before even getting an application, so that permits could be published online with a checklist that businesses would have to complete in order to protect nature and people. Then, businesses could buy the land, move in, hire people, and build, knowing they already have the permits. Let me be clear about this. It's not that the permits will simply be faster, it's that they'll be already done. So
how it feels to me also is that the Canadian government will kind of take a responsibility for kind of planning and the environment and everything. So it's not going to be just the greedy companies, right? But if the government is really able to pinpoint where it's going to be safe to mine, build, and all of it, like I feel that's a really step forward. Like they're really taking responsibility. And yeah, like, because with the companies, they're always going to be greedy. But if this, like the first few steps will come from government, not only it's going to be faster, but again, it should be safer. It should be in the best interest of best interest of Canada, right, and Canadian citizens. So that sounds like an amazing plan. And let's be honest, with so many government employees, this sounds like a good way for them to finally make money, like be worth the money we're paying on taxes, right? Well, hopefully we're gonna get less taxes and everything as well, but right now it looks like these people will get more work to do, so finally it's not going to be just someone sitting and getting salary, right?
Think of an area that we identify that is perfect for liquefying and exporting gas. We would publish a permit online with the normal safety and environmental requirements, and then companies could come in immediately, buy the rights for it, and begin building, hiring local First Nations and other Canadians to generate the paychecks in order to liquefy that gas, ship it off to Asia in order to break Asian dependence on coal, or send it off to Europe to break European dependence on Russian gas, turning dollars for dictators into pay.
I'm really happy that he's looking into this, because again, like I mentioned it before, I don't think there's a really logical reason of sending billions of dollars to Ukraine without without pushing them to start dealing or negotiating about a peace. But now imagine if you manage to supply at least portion of an LNG to Europe, and they become less reliant on Russia, that obviously is going to lower the Russian funds to fund the war, right? So indirectly you're going to help Ukraine, and at the same time you're going to help the economy in Canada. So I'm really glad that he's looking into it, and I wish we didn't have a liberal government when this war started, because we sent 20 billions that I'm sorry, it didn't prevent Ukrainian people from dying, didn't prevent Ukraine land for being taken over by Russia. And now imagine, you could have built the LNG plants, you could have built the pipelines, you could have hurt Russia that way. Like, I don't know. It's kind of ridiculous to me what liberals did. And don't get me wrong, obviously, Ukraine needs help, needs support. But I don't think it's a correct way to send them 20 billions from Canada, 300 billions from US, without actually telling them, but you need to negotiate about a peace. It's literally, here's money, do whatever you want. That's how it was. And I don't know about Canada, but I know when the President Joe Biden sent those 300 billions, he didn't have any plans how Ukraine will repay it to him, which is another ridiculous thing when you realize all of the European countries had a deal that it's a loan. It's not just free money, it's a loan. So I hope Canada have some deal with Ukraine that eventually, once Ukraine's back on their foot and once they can afford it, they will repay it to Canada. But who knows with Trudeau and liberals, right?
Paychecks for our people. We'll unleash hundreds of billions of dollars of investment in power plants, nuclear energy, mines, pipelines, data centers, and much more.
That's what I actually drove for 2 months. It was so much fun. It's like 2-story house. But no, like, let's be honest, the coal mine, I still don't know how good it is for environment. If Canada takes responsibility and decide where it's safe to mine the coal without it affecting the environment or tourism, then sure. But yeah, I just saw how, like, they're doing blasts into the mountain, and literally, like, within 1 week or within my 4 days off, you drove into the mine and it was completely different. Like, they were so much deeper. So yeah, I still don't know how I feel about the coal. I know it's important, especially the steel making coal, but yeah, like I said, if the government will take responsibility and do all of the research, if it's safe or no, I guess I would be okay with that.
Places will be humming with the sounds of construction equipment.
Yep.
As you will see
That's it.
hardworking and talented Canadian workers going around doing the job and expecting big, beautiful 6-figure paychecks to fill their bank accounts. Welders, boilermakers, pipe fitters, miners, and factory workers will be able to spend those paychecks at local restaurants and other businesses, creating even more powerful paychecks.
Yeah, keep money in
The
Canada.
economy will boom, raising funds for hospitals and schools. Most of all, we will be less reliant on the Americans. In fact, we will be self-reliant, sovereign, and stand on our own feet, to stand up to the Americans and stand up for ourselves, for a change. And we will restore Canada's promise that hard work gets you a great life in a beautiful home, on a safe street, protected by solid borders and brave troops under a proud flag. Canada. Let's bring it home.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so. Yeah, it was a good video and definitely spot on. Like, I still don't understand how liberals went 10 years by not improving economic situation at all. Well, obviously in 2020 they based the campaign and everything on COVID, right? Then now they're trying to base the campaign on President Trump, and Look, President Trump paused the tariffs. The ones that he didn't pause, the liberals are not dealing with. So I don't know. I don't know how can you justify to vote for a political party that didn't do anything good in last 3 terms. Let me just check something quickly. Uh, 2021 was a Canadian federal election. So yeah, they literally based everything on COVID probably back then. I don't remember how it was, but yeah, it was very sad when liberals won again, even though it was minority government. Anyway, so you heard about Pierre Poilievre's plan. What would he change if he's gonna get elected? And you didn't hear anything from the liberals other than we're gonna make the deal with President Trump. I mean, there was a video about the liberals that they're actually trying to copy the playbook of conservatives, but at the same time, like, they're saying how they're gonna I don't know if they specifically said that they're gonna create new pipeline, but at the same time they said that they're not gonna repeal the bill C-69, so it kind of doesn't make sense. But yeah, like, liberals right now, they don't have anything else than President Donald Trump, and I only hope that people will vote for the change. And there's only one party who has a strength to change something right now, and that's the conservatives and Pierre Poilievre.